Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Before I go on, I want to make clear that I have no plans on doing any of the things that I mentioned in this video, but I'd like to talk about some fantasies I've had about revenges against me. I don't forgive people very easily, and I sometimes fantasize about various ways to take revenge and get even with various things. My family didn't accept me for being solosexual until very recently. My mom was thinking that I should settle down with the right person and live the standard kind of family life and all that. And I often muse about, see, my parents would be approaching their 70s now. I often muse about starving myself to death as a form of revenge to my family for not accepting me for who I am. I mean, I've threatened to do it a few times. I can't seem to bring myself to do it, but I think it's just a fantasy of mine that starving myself and there's nothing they could do about it, just to regain that balance of control, if you will. Now, I often don't get accepted for who I am at the workplace either. And I had a boss who was he brought his religion to work, unfortunately, and his family values and all that. I don't have a problem with religion. What I do have a problem with is people who bring it to work and taint the entire workplace with it. Feel free to chime in on that. But I had a fantasy about stabbing him and beating him to a pulp. I thought about he's 70 years old, and sooner or later I'll probably get a chance to go to his funeral, and I thought about beating his body to a pulp. And because again, it's just a fantasy of mine. Don't get me wrong, I would never do that, especially not to his living body. To his dead body, maybe. I often muse. Last summer I was dealing with long COVID, and I had a fantasy that if my doctor told me I only had a month or two to live, I could really do some damage without any fear of any sort of punishment or anything, right? I had a fantasy about that. I remember thinking, if this long COVID really is it, at least I could really beat my boss to a pulp. I thought about that for a couple of moments. Or I could finally actually starve myself to death, right? I had a colleague who really pissed me off because I took care of when her sister had long COVID. I took care of them, and she didn't return the favor. I was programming an AI for the game of Ticket to Ride Poland, and I asked if she would play a few rounds, because I don't have people who would play board games with me. I just wanted to test it out and all that, or to test out my final AI, and she was too busy for all of that. Now, she was planning to get married. I don't think it turned out. But I thought about crashing their wedding. And I thought about going to their wedding and putting poison in the wedding at the venue so that everybody would have to evacuate. The reason I thought about poison was because my favorite poison, named after Poland, and she wouldn't play Ticket to Ride Poland with me, just to crash her wedding. It doesn't even have to be real poison. It just has to be a white powder that scares the crap out of people. People rush out of the venue, right? Especially if I don't even say it's poison, right? I wonder if that would even be illegal if I just go up to the venue, put on a P100 mask, and then spray white powder everywhere, and then run out the door to imply that there might be something dangerous there, so that people will evacuate. Right? I don't know. I thought about it because I was upset, and obviously, if I had it my way, I would beat her to a pulp as well. I probably won't have the opportunity to go to her funeral, unfortunately. Anyway, some fantasies of mine. Feel free to leave a comment if you've ever fantasized about hurting or killing somebody or blowing up the world or whatever it is. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.